The intercontinental ballistic missile.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 1.
But those things which God before had shewed by the mouth of all his
Why do we live in these conditions? Because these are not good conditions.
That's idolatry, because we are a rebellious people.
Right now. So you ever ask, like, why do we get persecuted? How can we get defined? But our people are so destroyed, they actually think that this is normal. This is not normal. You know, it's not normal to be out here with trash all over the place. You got bullet holes at the bus stop. You got people passed out, either drunk or on drugs. This is not normal. This is a bad condition. So why do we live like this? The brother's going to show you. Just give him a few minutes. Show him why we curse, so he can understand the importance of knowing who you are, and more importantly, what we can do to lift these curses, because that's what he's teaching.
What you gonna do in the kingdom?
How you doing? What's going on?
Come up out of her, my people.
And you got Marlboro in the streets. These type of things. You got to come up against that.
I'm just trying to reach the masses. Babylon burns, but when it do, it turn to ashes. Flames of fire in the sky, he's made a mansion. And when the king returns, he swing a sword and slay the
We got to keep the commandments. You got to know the commandments.
So bro, I'm going to show you how we lost our heritage and why we don't call ourselves Judah or Benjamin anymore. We go by names like African American, Negro, Afro American. When African American only came around, what, the 80s? That term just came around. So how is our nationality? How did we come from two white men? You know, Africa was named after Leo Scipius Africanus, and America was named after Amerigo Vespucci. So does that make sense that we come from two white men? Can two white men procreate? No, I don't. So get Jeremiah 17 and 4.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Okay.
And thou, even thyself, shall be discontinued from thine heritage.
So the Most High was speaking to Jeremiah. So this was currently, and it was prophetic too, speaking that you, Jeremiah, as the nation of Israel, would discontinue from our what?
From thine heritage.
So what comes with somebody's heritage? What comes with somebody's heritage? Like what comes along with that, with the heritage? I'm guessing your customs, right? So your language, the way you dress, the food you eat, your religion, right? The gods you believe in, and yeah, that comes to your with your heritage. I'm gonna show you how we lost our heritage, and then I'm gonna show you the history of how we know that we are the true children of Israel, and how the Bible lines up with us today directly. It's not a doubt that we are the true children of Israel.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1.
Okay.
Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace.
Okay.
And be not still, O God.
For what?
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
So David said, thine enemies make a tumult. A tumult is like a loud, noisious gathering. So he said, thine enemies, which means the Most High God has enemies too. Because if we're the Most High God's children and we have enemies, do you think we have the same enemies? No, we do. Because the heathens are against us, which means they're against the Most High God. Because why? Because the Most High God was only for the children of Israel. That's right. Let's read that.
And they that hate thee,
and they that hate thee, that hate the Most High God,
have lifted up the head.
So what nation of people on this earth think that they're God on earth and feel like they don't have to answer to a higher power? Why? Thank you. Here we go. Hebrews. That's one of the nations that hate God. Keep going.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against us with what? With welfare. We're putting drugs in our community, putting guns in my community. In Chicago, how are they getting RPGs in Chicago? Does that make any sense? Where's it coming from? It's coming from the government. There's no way they're getting that stuff in there. Even I know you've seen American Gangster run about how he's getting the drugs in the country. It's through the military. The white man, they help get these drugs and guns in our community because they know it's going to destroy us. Either by we're going to kill each other, we're going to overdose, or we're going to get locked up. Or the police are going to kill us for dealing with those things. One of those reasons is going to be a way for us to kill us. Keep going.
And consulted together with one consent.
Start again.
They have taken, verse 4.
Verse 4.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So they try to cut us off from our heritage, just like Jeremiah 17:4 said. They all gathered together and said, come, let's separate them from their heritage so they won't know that they're the true children of Israel. Because who do people think the Jews are today? Who do people think the true Jews are today? Who do they say? It's the Jewish people, right? You know, the Jewish people, they don't even believe in Christ. And if you break down the word Jewish, ish means like or pertaining to. So they're trying to be like Jews. They're not actual Jews. Like if I say that color on your shoe is brownish, is it really brown or is it gold? It's kind of like it, but it's not actually that color. Keep reading.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of what?
The name of Israel.
So the name of Israel, us known that we the 12 tribes from children of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
That we wouldn't remember who we are anymore. Through what? Through slavery. That's the main thing, how they made us forget our heritage. Keep reading.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
So all these heathens, all these nations consulted together, and they still are. What you know what the UN does, right? They all come together and they talk about what they're gonna do in the world. Are there black people represented in the UN? Like African Americans, so-called African Americans. There aren't, right? Are there so-called Hispanics represented in the UN? Are there so-called Native Americans? There's Spaniards. The Spaniard is different from a Hispanic. Spaniards are white Europeans that speak Spanish. Because before slavery, the Hispanics, they all spoke Hebrew. They didn't learn Spanish until Christopher Columbus came to Santo Domingo and enslaved them. That's when they learned Spanish. Keep going.
They are confederate against thee.
They are all against us.
The tabernacles of Edom.
So now it's about to name all the heathen nations who are against us. The tabernacles of Edom is talking about the so-called white man. I'm gonna prove that. Let's go to Genesis 25 and 25. And then 36 and 1 after that. Because every nation can tie the heritage back to the Bible, except for us, because we don't know. But every nation on earth can tie the heritage back to somebody in the Bible, because we all came from Adam, right? But different nations came out of Adam, and certain nations were blessed, and certain nations were meant for certain things. Keep going.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25.
So this is the birth of Esau, Jacob and Esau.
And the first came out red.
The first came out red.
All over like in hairy garments.
Like a hairy garment. So who on this earth gets red? For the majority, who gets red? Who gets turned red? Is the white man, is he really white? Or does he have just no pigmentation and his blood shows through? Okay, start at Genesis 2 and 7. No, go back to Genesis 2 and 7. Because I'm going to show you, for that verse right there, that was the first time in the Bible, and the only time in the Bible where a child's birth is described as a color. Because why? In the beginning, everybody was dark-skinned. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 7 to prove that.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
So if we are formed from the dust of the ground, what color is dirt? Brown, right? There's dark brown, there's light brown, there's really dark brown, and there's lighter, like reddish brown. But the earth, there's no earth that's white, is there? There's no dust. Yeah. So go back to Genesis 25 and 25. So we formed from the dust of the ground, which is dark.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25.
Okay.
And the first came out red.
The first came out red.
All over like in hairy garments.
Now when you see the Gillette commercials, who are those commercials made for? Who gets really hairy? Gillette, like the Gillette razor commercials or like the shaving cream commercials. Who are those marketed for? White people, right? Okay. Keep going.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. So that is the birth of the white man right here. And I'm going to show you in Genesis 36 and 1 that Esau and Edom is the same thing.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 1.
Okay.
Now these are the generations of Esau.
Okay.
Who is Edom.
Who was Edom? So Esau is Edom. Okay, go back to Psalms 83. So now I'm going to break down to you all of the heathens who are working against us, to keep you from the knowledge that you're an Israelite.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
So-called white man. That's the first one named because he's the main one. Who else?
And the Ishmaelites.
The Ishmaelites are so-called Arabs from the Middle East, so your Iraqis, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, all of them.
Of Moab.
Of Moab, because you know before we came to the transatlantic slave trade, it was a sub-Saharan slave trade, where the Arabs, they put us in slavery first. The Arabs and the Hamites, so-called Africans, they had us in slavery first before they sold us to the white man. So unless you show that Africans, we're not the same people as Africans. There are remnants of Israel in Africa, but as a nation, they are different from us. Because would a brother sell his brother into slavery? Does that make sense to you? And even if something did happen, why haven't they come back to save us yet? Get Exodus 11 and 7. So there's a difference between so-called Hamites and Israelites.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast. That ye may know
that
how that the Lord doth put a difference.
So he put a difference between the children of Israel,
between the Egyptians and Israel.
The Egyptians and the Israelites. Because a lot of our people, they want to claim, say, oh, I'm Egyptian. Oh, we be Egyptians. Nah, they had us in slavery. They had us building the pyramids in slavery. That's why every nation, when captivity under, gets built up. Egypt got built up. Rome got built up. America got built up. We built the White House. Do we stay in there? Nah, that's one of the curses. Go back to Psalm 33. So I'm going to show you who our enemies are. Then I'm going to let you know how we got in this predicament, why we went into slavery. Because slavery, going on slave ships, is actually in the Bible.
Of Moab.
That's the so-called Asians, Chinese.
And the Hagarenes.
That's your Hamites. So look, so Edom, you white man. Ishmaelites, the Arabs. Hagarenes, Africans. Moab, Asians. Who owns all the businesses in our community? The white people. Who else? I mean, look, who owns the carryout? No, they work there, but they don't own it. Who owns the carryout? And the dry cleaners? Who owns the gas station? It's either Africans or it's Arabs. And who owns the major businesses? The white man. So that's the main people right there reaping off of our money in this captivity. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28. So now that we know that what's up, bro? Happy Sabbath. So now that we know that the audience Moses was speaking to in the wilderness was the Israelites, let's see what the warning was and why we went into slavery. Start at 28 and 15. 28 and 1. Start there.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass.
So this will come to pass.
If thou shalt not hearken. Verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we listen to the Most High God, because the reason why we went into slavery, the reason why cops are killing us, the reason why we killing each other is because we didn't and still aren't keeping the commandments. Because we follow just one commandment, love thy brother and love thy neighbor, we wouldn't be killing each other, we wouldn't be selling drugs to each other, we wouldn't be fornicating with each other, committing adultery with your brother's wife or something like that. You wouldn't be, a lot of sins, you wouldn't be coveting your brother, you wouldn't be envious of him. A lot of sins will be erased and a lot of stuff will be fixed in our community. We follow that one law, just to love our brother like we love ourselves.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
To observe and to do all his commandments. I know the church teaches the laws are done away with, but that's not true. The laws are not done away with. Christ did come to fulfill the law of sacrifice, and he fulfilled him down on the cross. That's what he fulfilled. He didn't take all the laws. Because what was he teaching? When he fulfilled the laws, what was Christ teaching when he was on the earth? You think he was teaching his own thing, or he was teaching what the Most High God commanded? The law. He was teaching the laws. So he wasn't teaching nothing new. That's what he taught about the whole New Testament. Amen, as apostle. Keep going.
Which I command ye this day.
Which I command you this day.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So if we did keep the commandments, we'd be set on high of all nations of the earth. Are we on top right now? Or are we on the bottom? Definitely on the bottom. Keep going.
Verse 16?
Yeah, keep going. No, keep. You finished one?
Yeah, I finished one.
Okay, go to 15.
Verse 15.
So that's the good side. If we did keep the commandments, we obey them all, we'll be put on top. Which is going to happen when Christ comes back. Keep reading.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
If what?
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we don't listen to the Most High God, if we don't keep the commandments, what's going to happen?
To observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command you this day.
Okay.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So in Deuteronomy 28:15 and down, it lists the curses that would happen to us if we did not keep the commandments. Give verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So it said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Keep going.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them.
Okay.
All the day long. And
why? Keep going.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Who does that remind you of? What does that make you think of? Sons and daughters being given away, and there's no power in our hands to stop us. Who did that happen to? And what? In slavery, right? That happened to us. Go and finish it. That's it. Go to 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
Okay.
A proverb and a byword.
An astonishment. How are we an astonishment to the nation today? They love seeing us sing. They love seeing us rap. They love seeing us dribble a basketball, play football, throw a football, catch it and get a touchdown. They love seeing us in these sports. And what about World Star? Like, that's the most entertainment for these other nations. They love watching us fight each other and commit so much wickedness against us. They enjoy that. We're an astonishment to people. That's why when you see white people driving through our neighborhood, they're turning and staring. It's like it's a museum or a zoo. They love watching us. We're an astonishment to them.
A proverb.
And a proverb, that goes into wise sayings. Like they say, black people love watermelon and fried chicken. What else? They call Hispanics love beans and rice. There are sayings against us. Oh, black people can never be on time. Black people can never keep a job. Those are sayings against us that people think are actually true. A lot of stereotypes people think is true just because it's said and repeated so much. And a what?
A proverb and a byword.
And a byword. A byword goes to what we were talking about earlier. African American, Negro, colored. Those are all bywords. Those aren't our true names. What do they call Hispanics? Even call Hispanics. That's not their true name. They're from the northern kingdom of Israel. Each tribe has a name. They come from one of Jacob's sons. So all these names they call us today, that's not our true names.
Among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
Go to 68. It's the banger right here.
Verse 68.
Okay.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Most High God said bring the Israelites into Egypt again. So the first time they went into Egypt, did they walk in there or did they take ships? Bro, first time they went into Egypt, or we left Egypt. Did we take a ship out of Egypt or did we walk out of Egypt? The Israelites, nah. They walked out of Egypt. They walked out of Egypt. So read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So how are we going to go back in ships? Go to Exodus 20 and 2. Egypt here is speaking about slavery, about bondage. That's what it stands for.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2.
What does Egypt mean?
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. That's why the land was called that, because we were in slavery there. Even before it's called Egypt, it was called Mizraim, which means to constrict. So go back to Deuteronomy 28, 68. Finish that up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Okay.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So we were going to slavery again, into bondage again, on what?
With ships.
With ships. So bro, who went, as a nation, who went into slavery on ships? What people? And who else? Hispanics too. They were the first ones to go into slavery on ships. In 1492. They got taken to Spain and all over Europe. They were the first ones to actually go into captivity through slave ships. That's why us fighting each other today, like in California, like the Hispanics fighting against the black people, that's all out of order. But that's all because of Psalms 83. They all came together against it. They separated us purposely. Same thing in prison. You reading?
By the way, what up? I spake unto thee.
So by the way, the Most High God spake to us. We were going to slavery on ships.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Talking about our homeland, Jerusalem. That's when we'll see no more again.
And then you shall be sold unto your enemy.
So be sold to our enemies. So we spoke about Psalms 83, so-called white man, so-called African, so-called Asians, so-called Ishmaelites and Africans, all of them.
For bondmen.
For bondmen, for slave men.
And bondwomen.
And slave women. And what?
And no man shall buy you.
No man shall buy us, meaning no man shall redeem you, meaning save. That's an old Quaker word meaning save. So no man can save us from this captivity except for Christ. That's the only man that can save us. Bro, you looking? So, read at the end again. The bondman and bondwoman.
And ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So we were sold to who? Who sold us? No, they bought us. Who sold us? Africans sold us. Africans and Arabs sold us. Get that in Joel. So I can start in the Bible. We're talking about Africans and Arabs selling us to the so-called white man.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. And ye have cast lots for my people.
Okay, lots were cast for our people. We were sold on the trading blocks.
And given a boy for an harlot.
Because what? Boys were made into breeders, right? Remember they were breeding us? They was used just for the purpose of breeding to make more slaves. And to sell them babies all across the country. So you would have a kid, you in North Carolina, the kid would get shipped to Florida or who knows, or Georgia. You don't know where your kids went. Keep going.
And sold a girl for wine.
And our sisters were sold for wine and drink, and strong drink. If you watch Amistad, they actually have that in the movie too. They actually show that. That we were sold for alcoholic beverages, for wine and other strong drink. Keep going.
That they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
So Tyre and Zidon are two ancient African kingdoms. The Most High God is asking them, what have you to do with me? Because you're not my people. I don't deal with you. Keep going.
And all the coast of Palestine.
All the coast of Palestine. Where's Palestine at? You know? Palestine is over. Where we at? Palestine is over in this area. So what's the area called right here? They're like Saudi Arabia. What's the area called? The Middle East. So Palestinians are talking about your Middle East and your Arabs. Read that again. Coast of Palestine. We'll start from Tyre and Zidon.
And yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Okay. So the Most High is saying, what do you have to do with me, you Africans and Arabs? Keep going.
And all the coast of Palestine.
All the coast of Palestine. So your Africans and your Arabs, what do they do? Keep reading.
Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your own recompense upon your own hand.
Because their recompense was putting us into slavery because the Most High God didn't choose them. So they were trying to go against God by putting us into slavery and captivity and killing and raping us. But he said that recompense is going to come back to you even more forward. Keep reading.
Verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temple my goodly pleasant things.
Keep going.
The children also of Judah.
The children of Judah, which is the so-called African Americans. Keep going.
And the children of Jerusalem.
That goes into Benjamin and Levi, so-called Caribbeans and Haitians.
Have you sold unto the Grecians?
Have you sold unto the Grecians? What nation of people are the people from Greek from? Grecians. What are they? Yeah, what are they?
What do they look like?
Greek, it's in Europe. So if they're in Europe, what do you think they are? Alexander the Great. Think of like Hercules and all them things. All them mythological movies. What color were they? They were white, right? So the Africans and the Arabs sold us to who?
Have you sold unto the Grecians?
To the Grecians. All right, check the flyer out, bro. Check it out. Yeah. All right, finish that out.
That ye might remove them.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us, subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.